Greetings everyone, my name is Dietrich, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Callie's Trials. During the last part, I completed Chapter 4, so in this part, I'll complete Chapter 5. Before that, just outside of Callie's house, next to this tree, now that we've gotten the spike gun, use the spike gun to create platforms over here and jump over the door. There's a secret up here. Up over here, you can collect tree gems. You don't need a triple jump to make it here, but it makes it a lot easier. So there are 7 gems that you can collect for some nice money. Although you can only go back to that area once you reset the game, so it's not really a good fast way of earning money. Now, as you may have seen in the montage, or a sped up gameplay, which I attached to the beginning of this video, I basically grinded up all my weapons to higher levels and gained a lot of experience and money by fighting against Carl the Turd. This is generally what I've been doing off-screen in order to level up my weapons. My pistol is almost at level 10, my assault rifle is almost at level 10, my rocket launcher is at level 9, I also got the freeze gun up to level 8, the bow is up to level 10. Apologies for not showing the evolution, there were some odd glitches when I tried switching just before. It now fires 3 arrows and it's kind of faster and does more damage. And we have the flamethrower at level 10 with its final evolution. It now fires faster for each evolution and does more damage. And in addition to that, the fireballs become much bigger, so it does a bigger area effect. This was the easiest to level up because I've ascertained that weapons seem to level up based off of the number of uses or hits against an enemy, instead of the total damage they do. It's only based off the factor of uses and not a combination of damage and such, so it really doesn't favor other types of weapons. Not to mention some weapons require more XP to level up than others, like the assault rifle, which I really think should be lower, as it makes it much easier to level up weapons like anything that pierces through enemies, like the blade gun, boomerang, or even the flamethrower, because it can pierce through and hit multiple enemies at once. I'll level up the spike gun in the next part, but you haven't really missed much in terms of the upgrades. They're basically either damage upgrades, or faster fire rate, or something else. For the spike gun, it's just increased damage. And also, Callie's now at level 18, so she has almost full max heart capacity. And I got almost all the gold I need for the rest of the game. So let's buy off all this stuff. Let's buy a shortcut to zone number 5. Let's also buy a chance to dodge attacks. Let's also buy, let's reduce enemy HP even further. Strange that there was no description. Let's buy the third sword upgrade. Let's purchase the energy wave, which I said I was going to purchase by Chapter 6, but thanks to a lot of level grinding, I am purchasing it here. I'm going to purchase a lamp, double coins. Let's buy health regeneration. That's the ultimate. I'll hold off for a minute for the next part so I don't completely botch the challenge here. A chance to dodge, and that's about it. Well, I'll also buy the level up. 1 more HP, so now I'm at level 20, or max level. And I won't get any more hearts because 20 is the max level, and well, that's the max amount of health I'll be getting. Also up there is a nice cameo from Bera, a main character from Callie's Caves 3, and another playable character as well. So without further ado, let's jump into Chapter 5. Make your own luck. Things are starting to ramp up here, especially with the increased difficulty from the previous chapter, and with all the skulls and bones and the strange blocks over here. As you can see, you can either collect or purchase those upgrades, the level up upgrades from the shop once you reach level 18, or you can just do it naturally in this level up here. Although if you purchase it from the shop, you'll get no more levels after 20. We're almost at the maximum strength Callie can be at. And here's the energy wave I was talking about. It looks more like an explosion wave. In fact, we're kind of nearing the end of the game because there are only 2 more weapons we can purchase. And the flamethrower is really powerful at its max evolution. Same with the other multi-hitting weapons like the blade gun as well as the boomerang. I'll extensively be using this as my short-range weapon of choice, especially as it's longer range and easier to use compared to the boomerang. Plus it has a much higher area of effect. Really, I'll use the blade gun if I want to fire and forget, and if I want to use the boomerang, I'll do it for more like single target damage. But when I want to move around, I'll just use the flamethrower. It's a much better portable weapon. Plus I don't need to mash the fire button in order to make this fire faster. It's one of the assault weapons that isn't really outclassed by the semi-automatic weapons. And this does 3 damage, sure, but there's one catch though. Oh, okay. Interesting. If you hit the enemy also up close with the final upgrade, it'll deal 4 points of damage. But as you can see, it's kind of slow in terms of dealing damage. In fact, it's better to just use normal shots. Using your gun would be a much better utility. But the flamethrower really works against everything. Oh, and also apparently my max heart total is 22 instead of 20. It's just not shown in the interface up there because I took 2 rockets to the face without losing 4 hearts in the interface. Oh yeah, and you can also destroy apparently you can destroy the rockets as well as the Balor's flamethrower, and also the skeleton's bone if you're careful enough with your flamethrower. Oh, and there was a dodge. Ow. And there was a fail. Another fail. It's kind of hard to see where the Balors are firing with all the flames, though. That's one unfortunate side effect of the high-powered flamethrower, though. Lots of gold, although I really won't need it. I've reached the point where I can basically fire. I have almost all the money I can get. All the money I need, and I can get the rest through playing the stage. And there are only 2 more weapons left I can get in the game. And I can easily level grind it against the King Carl anyway, or Carl III. But if you're good enough, you can basically destroy all enemy projectiles, which makes it really powerful against those rockets, or rocket users. But against the Balors, the boomerangs are definitely a better weapon. Especially as you can kind of fire and forget, and you can have up to 7 of them at once. But against flying enemies, I think the flamethrower is going to be better. Oh yeah, I better get the final evolution for the pistol, as I promised. Here is the final evolution of the pistol, as I promised since Chapter 1. Now it increased damage, shoots 2 small rockets instead of normal projectiles, and has a slight spread. So it does 2 damage each, but they're better weapons to use. Oh well, let's also upgrade the rocket launcher then. Not the rocket launcher, the assault rifle. There we go, our assault rifle is at its final evolution. Higher DPS, it's really accurate and has a fast fire rate. Okay, so it deals 2 damage each. It's like a more powerful version of the pistol. But of course I have the flamethrower, so I won't be using it. After all, the rocket launcher is our best single projectile weapon, as you can see, because it deals 3.6 points of damage. Too bad its splash damage doesn't really affect foes. It only hits one at a time. I just wish I could bind weapons to multiple keys, like I can bind weapon A to key 1 and weapon B to key 2, because that would make the ice gun a lot more powerful, because it can shift between using the ice gun to freeze enemies and then a more powerful weapon to hurt them. And also the pistol is kind of weak because we have things like the bow, which does 2 points of damage with 3 projectiles. But things are ramping up very fast with all the more difficult enemy configurations and whatnot. Right now, the weapons that scaled the best throughout the game have been the boomerang, the blade gun of course, and the flamethrower. And the rocket launcher seems to be doing pretty well. The rest of the weapons quickly become outclassed once you get a better weapon and level them up, or a later weapon. Things like the ice gun, as well as the spike gun, they do maintain their use because of their utility. Like the spike gun has a decent amount of damage, but the main thing is that it can create platforms, and as well as creating funny effects for the enemies. As you can see, because once it's in mid-air, as long as the green slime is below it, it can actually jump right off of it. The shotgun really falters because we have multi-targeting things. At the end game, multi-targeting enemies and hitting them repeatedly through piercing rounds, that's the name of the game. The only way you can compete with that is to have very high damage like the rocket, or have a utility like the ice gun or the spike gun. I keep forgetting the name of that, sorry. These spiders are still annoying nonetheless. Thankfully we don't have a tougher version of them in this game. I can imagine how much more annoying that would be. Well, alas, now time to continue our semi-peaceful trek further and further into the caves in order to save Callie's parents. Really, at this point, the game kind of becomes a cakewalk, although that's also partially because I'm grinding off screen and making this experience a lot easier. Normally, I think it would be around level 10 or 12, and if you continue on down the cave system with the weapons you have, gradually leveling up, this game gets a lot more challenging. So I'm just making it a lot easier than it seems. Of course, that's one of the strengths of this game, is that if you feel the game is too tough, you can always go back to earlier levels and grind up your weapons in order to get better stuff. Really, the weapon balance was improved in Callie's Caves 3, with more useful weapons as well as better evolutions, not to mention a lot more stages. Now that I think about it, when I was doing the grinding up off screen, if you die once, you'll lose the X2 coins or X2 experience, which can be quite painful when you're trying to level grind or money grind. And this is another nice use of the flamethrower, being able to hit enemies slightly above and below you. There's no use for those treasure chests, so I'll just ignore them. Whoa. That's a bad configuration of foes. I'm also surprised, well, I've been repeatedly saying this in the previous parts, I'm actually surprised how much mileage the enemies are getting in this game. Sure, I do wish there were tougher foes and whatnot, but because of how gun damage works, it doesn't really level up quite as much as I expected it from this game to have. I expected this game, the gun damage for later guns to increase at a much higher rate, but a lot of the weapons have averaged 2 to 3 damage per shot. It's really the number of projectiles that makes them more damaging. Interesting approach, although we still have broken weapons like the blade gun, the boomerang, and the flamethrower at its highest level. Alas, I don't really have anything much more to say, so sit back and enjoy the relaxing music. I'll continue commentating once I discover another room full of interesting items, or get to a tough room or boss. One thing I've noticed throughout the game is that many of the environments are kind of more on the blocky side. I mean, I haven't really seen any slopes in this game. Everything is constructed of differently sized and differently textured blocks, you can see here. Oh sure, there's some unique configurations, like over here, which is kind of like an outer maze filled with these platforms and blocks. The rest are just filled with typical platforming fare with more blocky environment, with not that many differentiations in shape. I mean, now that I think about it, some of the floating platforms, or many of the floating platforms, excluding the ones like these, are quite blocky in shape. In fact, these are the same, I don't know, 16 by 16 or 32 by 32 resolution block. I'm not too sure, but it kind of reduces variety in this game, and makes more of the rooms seem a little bit samey. I know there are 110 rooms in this game, but I feel like the sequel did a better job at differentiating each room from each other, specifically rooms from different chapters. Sure, we have differentiation here in terms of the graphics and aesthetics, like before we had a green environment with a cave system, but here we have a more skeleton, we're showing a lot of death or impending doom, as well as the strange eye-looking blocks. But in the sequel, there's better differentiation as well as a bit more enemy types to deal with. As other than these aesthetics here, many of the rooms kind of blend in with each other, excluding maybe comparing each type of level for each world with the enemies and whatnot. And upcoming here is our next weapon. We've got the laser rifle, the 11th weapon you'll collect in the game. It fires a laser beam. Let's test it out. And just like any semi-automatic weapon, you can rapid fire it. Oh, wow. I'll definitely level up this weapon off screen. Well, I think I'll get the first evolution, then I'll do the rest of the level grinding off screen. Oh, and those poor bandits. always being stun locked by almost every single, what should I say, semi-automatic weapon. And the sound effect sounds cool as well, so that's a plus for me. And thus the laser rifle has obtained its first evolution. Damage increased and a wider beam. This will generally be the team in terms of the laser rifle upgrades, and it has also changed its color, so that's nice. Too bad it doesn't pierce. If it did, that would make this weapon instantly more awesome. So I'll level grind it off screen for the final chapter. There's only one more weapon you can collect in this game. But alas, the flamethrower works much better than any other weapon, so back to spamming it all over the place. And also back to listening to the nice calming tunes while traversing through this cave system. Geez, with all the monsters Callie is destroying throughout her adventure, I wonder what story she's gonna tell to her parents when she rescues them and comes home. And where is she gonna store all of these dangerous weapons? I mean, many of them, especially like the rocket launcher, flamethrower, blade gun, boomerang, are quite deadly. Well, I suppose she just donates them or something. Or she suffers from bag of spilling. Alright, here's the boss of Chapter 5, Herbert's Battle Tank. Well, that escalated. I didn't expect a tank. Okay, so it's probably an armored unit. Let's actually try fighting this correctly. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Okay, Herbert's battle tank fires a spread of 8 projectiles at your last position, so as long as you can guide it back and forth, you should be able to deal with Herbert. Well, with this automatic battle tank. And just keep wailing on it while dodging its shots and while it moves left and right, and you should be fine. Just be careful. You can also just do this and block most of the shots by just spamming your sword. You can also do that, but it's just faster to just use your other weapons in order to deal with Herbert. Well, Herbert's not in this, I don't think. And I'm making this seem a lot harder than it looks. That's more due to my incompetence. But thankfully, due to my ridiculously high level, I can tank most of the blows, or use it as a meat shield. And of course, using a long-range weapon would make this fight a lot simpler, but hey, I want a better challenge, so I'll just do it this way. And alas, Herbert's main battle tank has been destroyed. So, in the next part, I'll be covering the final chapter of Callie's Trials. Chapter 6, The War of the Caves. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Toodles!